We got a no start, no run situation with this car. I already know it's got a fuel issue. It's not getting fuel. More than likely it's the fuel pump. Battery's dead. Can't let it sit very long without disconnecting the battery. It goes dead, so it's another problem. It's not my car. I'm hoping I don't have to run down the electric problem. But there is one little trick I'll show. What I'm going to do is pour some gas down inside the what looks like what used to be a carburetor, but in this case it's a throttle body injection. So I'm going to pour a little gas in there. That's more than enough. And then crank the key. I already know it's going to start and run on that, but I'm just doing it for the video. Guess we got an exhaust problem on this car too, pretty noisy. But there you go. Obviously the timing is all good and the motor's good. It's just not getting gas because we pour some gas in there and it runs on that till it runs out. So we will be dropping the gas tank. Well, needless to say, I'm going to have to jack this thing up and get to the gas tank, which is, there's the gas cap, so it's going to be pretty much right underneath that area. And I like to use a motorcycle jack, and you can get these, they're getting pretty cheap now. I think I paid $100 for this one at Sam's about maybe 15-20 years ago, a long time ago. But Harbor Freight's got them cheap. A little bit different kind, but as you can see, in this case, I got a valve right here that closes the jack off and then pump the thing up. And that's how I let the tank down. That way I don't care how much gas is in the gas tank, because I put it on this and lower it with that. And of course I can shim it up with some boards like this if I need to be a little bit higher on one end or the other. I'll go ahead and jack this up and start loosening the straps under there, get this tank down. Here we are. I'm laying on the ground. I'm just going to take a quick look and show you. This is the tank, of course, right there. Here's the filler neck. We'll have to undo the filler neck, either this hose right here or maybe unscrewing it up in the filler cap. It depends on what looks better to do. And then we got two straps to take down. I can only see one, so the other one is obviously underneath this plastic dirt shield here. Here's the one strap. We'll get some oil sprayed on it, some WD-40 sprayed on those bolts. And then we'll get this piece off of here so that we can get to the other strap. It's hiding under here somewhere. We'll find it. Block the tires on the side that I'm not going to jack up, because I did it behind the tires because it's slightly downhill going out towards the street. Now I'm getting ready to jack this car up and put some jack stands under it. I'll give another plug for my jack that I'm happy to have, I got from Harbor Freight. Get a close up on it, see which one it is. Yeah, I've been real happy with it. It works real nice and easy, and it was cheap. It was like, I don't remember, 80, 90 bucks, something like that. I might have caught it on sale, but you can't beat that. And the 3-ton, I would not be surprised if it'll do every bit of that. Got my jack stands in place, got one in the back there. The reason why it's behind the back wheel is because the gas tank's right here. We're taking it down in front of the wheel. And got one up there in the front. And now we're sliding around under here. I'll spray a little oil on the threads of the bolt up there. Looking towards the front there. Okay, we got, put a nut right there in a bowl. We put some spray on that. I'm going to spray this one. This is a little bit of a different setup. I'm used to having a strap that goes, two straps that go across the bottom and bolt on up on the top. Kind of like this one back here does. Bolts on over here on this side, and this side here just hooks into a mount. I'm used to seeing two like that. This one's set up a little different. I'm going to spray on here. Let's see what we get there. Just found another issue. This gas line coming off. They put a new filter on it and they cut these lines to do it. And they did not get them sealed up. But since it's a push fuel pump, not pull, it's not vacuum, it pushes pressure. They should have been spraying gas out of these lines all over the place if the pump was working. So even if it does turn out to be the pump, which I'm pretty sure it will be, if I don't find a wiring problem when I get the tank down, I still got to tighten up these lines and fix this, because this is all messed up here. It's leaking everywhere. This is all wet with gas here, and up there where they got that one on, it's all wet with gas. Just took the nut and washer. Here they are. Took those off of this dust cover here. This thing just pulls down and slides off the front. Don't have a good way to mount the camera right now, so I'm gonna just go ahead and pull that off. Kind of self-explanatory. We're gonna start loosening up this bolt right here, and then the one in the front, on the strap in the front, that's just like it, except it's over here on this side. Start loosening those up. That dragging sound is this metal block that I made a temporary camera mount out of. I'm going to get one with wheels one of these days. And take those off, or I'm going to get it loose and start getting it down, and then I'm going to put the jack, that motorcycle jack, underneath the bottom of this tank so we can start lowering it down slowly. I got those strap bolts loose. Now I'm ready to position this motorcycle jack in here, or a small transmission jack, if you have that, would work too. Looks like we might just barely get in between the straps. Because we can't pick it up by the straps. Looks like I'm going to need a shim on this side, a block of wood, because I got the car jacked up on one side. I'm going to go get a piece. Got that shimmed up with a couple little blocks of wood, one on each side. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish taking this strap off, and then I got to slide around to the other side there to get the other one off. Well, we're getting that thing off of there, getting that bolt just about out. Got that strap off of there. Now I got to get out from under here, and I got to get the filler neck unattached. I got to get that disconnected. We're inside this gas cap thing here. There's 3 little screws. I took the gas cap off and hung it up on this little convenient hook for it there. 3 little screws. I got 2 out already. I'm getting the last one out right now. It's right here. And then this can get dirty. I don't want it to, but if I put the cap on it, it won't fit through there. So I'm probably going to stick a rag in it. That's what it looks like on the inside, trying to hold the camera and the flashlight in the same hand. So that's loose, ready to come down, I hope. It's got a ground wire here. That's to protect you from a possible spark when you're filling the thing up. And then this thing here dropped down. It's some kind of a filter, I think. I don't know what that is. It's something they came out with since I quit working on these things. I don't know if I got to do it this way or not, but I'm having trouble getting room. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get this tank down with this big long filler neck. So I'm going to go on ahead and take the clamp off that holds the filler neck onto the tank through a rubber hose. Like it's kind of like a radiator hose. I'm going to go ahead and take that off, but there's a breather hose up there, a vent hose, I mean. Where's my finger? Right here. I got to get that one off too. We'll try it that way. Maybe that'll work. And then it's looking like these 4 bolts right here got to come off. I'll show you why underneath there. Here's those 4 bolts from underneath. Because they're on a solid bracket right here that goes under the tank, and I don't see how we're going to get the strap goes around over the top of the tank. It just kind of holds the tank over towards the side. It doesn't hold it up. It sits on this heavy-duty bracket that's mounted onto the frame. The tank does. So either we take the drive shaft off and try to go that way, but the differential's going to be in the way back on the other end, so that ain't going to work. Looks like we have to take this bracket off that the tank is sitting on. I'm taking those bolts out that hold this bracket on that's underneath the tank here with the 13mm socket and a little 3/8 impact. I sprayed WD-40 on the threads first. Now we're getting this bracket off of there. And I'm going to try to slip this thing off completely out of the way. Maybe I could have left this thing tight on the tank. I don't know. It would have moved far enough out to get it out of there. This is so far the hardest tank I've ever taken down, but the good thing is I got a pretty good collection of tools, so whatever I run into I should be able to deal with it. We got the filler neck off of there, off the hose, and the vent hose, it's off. I got more fuel lines that are attached to the frame. I don't know how much give they're going to have, if they're long enough to work with me or not. There are those 2 lines right there in the middle of the picture. Let's see if I can get those down with the tank. I just stuck a larger shop towel in that hose that goes to the tank. The big hose that came off of the filler tube, because it looks like it's going to be exposed to a lot of garbage on its way down, and probably wouldn't hurt if trash got in there, but we don't want it to if we can help it. I got that whole bracket and clamp and strap off of here. I laid it down on the ground over here in front, and I kind of bent the one in the back. I got it off and kind of bent it out of the way a little bit. And I'm still wrestling with this tank, just barely buying enough room next to this drive shaft to see if we can get it down a little at a time. I am disconnecting these lines. They were up here in these little snap-on things that they snap into, and I'm popping them out of those up here on this end too. Where is it? Right there. And I'm going to put this tank on the ground so I can get it out of here, because the fuel pump goes in right on top of it. Since this is the main fuel line that goes out of the tank up here and through the fuel filter, I didn't know I was zoomed in that much, sorry. And the guy that put this fuel filter on. He's got a union right here. We'll take this off. Otherwise, it looks like it would have just come unbolted right here, but that is too rusty, so I wouldn't mess with that. If I was going to do it that on this end, I would just cut this hose in half. It's a rubber hose. I'd cut that in half and just put a little union in between there and a couple of clamps. But this one has already been cut open here, so we'll just, and it's fresh, so we'll take that off there. Since the fuel filter's leaking anyway, I have to fix that, find out what he did wrong and fix that. But this other line up here, if I have to, I just might go ahead and cut that hose, put a union in there. We'll see when I cross that bridge when I get to it. I got the tank down. I got the back end of it sitting on a block of wood. I put it on that block of wood because it just barely fit under the edge of it, sitting on the jack. And then I lifted up the front end, pulled the jack out from under it. Not much room here. This tank is in a bad way, a lot of rust. And that's the fuel pump. It's right there, fuel pump and the sending unit. Sending unit means the switch that goes up and down and tells the gas gauge how much gas you got. I guess if this thing wasn't so rusty and nasty, there's probably enough room to change that pump right here, but I'm going to go on ahead and get this thing down on the ground and get these fuel lines off of there, get this thing out from under here so I got room to work. I just unplugged this connector that goes to the fuel pump on top of this tank here, and I really do need to get a test light in there and make sure that we got power coming down here, because changing a fuel pump isn't going to fix it if we don't have power coming down here. But doggone it, I have to go through all this just to get to this place to even test it. It's just terrible. Well, to get this test, I gotta break through the rust on the frame here with a vice grip and get to some clean metal so I can put a ground clip on the vice grip. I wish I had someone to hold the camera for me and point at things, because I can't do it. Need more than two hands. I got to get out and get in the car and turn it on and then come back down here. Boy, this thing is not going to be easy to do it with a camera. I'm going to try. But this is where I got to get the test light. And I need it to light up on one of these. It's lighting up on that one. Not real bright, but it's lighting up. Let's try the other one. I don't know which one is which though. I think that's the gray one over here.